Hi, welcome to Motivation Minute. I'm Jeriah Miller,
And I'm Spencer Harro.
and you're actually visiting out here in Montana right
That's
now.
right, we're actually together, which is highly unusual. We're on Skype usually.
Yeah, and we normally just record on our podcast on iTunes, but today we're filming a video.
For
So
YouTube and iTunes.
awesome.
How about
So
that?
yeah, and we're normally we actually read a book, and we
Yep.
talk about what we learned in the book. But
But we should
today,
switch it up, shouldn't we?
yeah.
Just a little bit.
So we decided we'd do a quick episode about college and the pros and cons of or whether or not it's a good idea to go to college. So why don't we?
This should be interesting because you did not go to college and I went to college.
Yeah, you got your engineering degree, and you actually just got a job.
I did.
Engineering, which is pretty cool. And yeah, I started a little video business. But yeah, so we're gonna explain the pros and cons. My perspective is that you don't necessarily need to go to college. But I grew up in an Amish culture, or I grew up Amish. We changed a little bit over the years, but in the Amish only go to 8th grade, and and it's actually normal. They don't even encourage you to go. I mean, you could, but they don't encourage you to go any higher than 8th grade.
So what do you feel about that? Do you wish you had gone higher than 8th grade?
I personally no, I don't because and I used to wish that I did. I used to be insecure about my education because I thought, man, I'm only 8th grade. I made sure I went and got my GED, and to be honest, I don't think I'll ever use my. Nobody's gonna ever ask me if I have a GED if I went to high school, and I'm never gonna use algebra. I'm never gonna use calculus or
That's what you think. I
basic.
think you
No,
use calculus when you least expect it.
use
For a guy who
basic
went through Calc
basic.
1, 2, 3, Diffie Q, and linear algebra, I think you
I'm gonna
use
use
calculus.
I'm gonna use yeah you, but I'm gonna use basic math and reading and writing. That's all I'm gonna
Well,
use
that's
in my
true. For
life.
your business, most of the time it's basic math, but there are points where you need to pull out calculus.
Yeah, I mean yeah, sure, it's good to know. Anyway, for me, I don't think it was. I think I'm happy with my education, and I think for I'm gonna say the majority of people in America in modern days don't have to go to college. I don't think, but we can yeah. What do you think? What's your perspective?
I think college is a really good choice if you know what you're doing. So if you go in
Yeah,
and you know exactly what degree you're trying to go for, okay,
yeah,
granted you might switch slightly,
yeah,
but you
yeah.
don't jump
Sure.
from like foreign language to engineering
Yeah.
and
Well,
be
even
like
if you do
that.
that, that's fine. But I think what's is worse is most people don't even have anything. They just go to college and they just pick
For no
off the
particular
top.
reason.
They just pick something off the top of their head. They only go because their parents want them to go.
And that's the wrong reason to go. You got to go with the motivation that you're learning so that you can use the college as an asset. It's like building wealth. It's wealth is more than money, it's what you know. And if you can build yourself up through what you know, college does it in a unique way where you can have an intensive set of classes that teach you things
Yeah,
that give you
because
tools that
it
you
has a
wouldn't necessarily pick up on the
it has
job.
a curriculum that you can actually follow, whereas most people aren't motivated enough to learn things on their own. And so sometimes you need to have somebody teach you. I mean, you have to have mentors regardless, but teachers, you have to have teachers, somebody to teach you things in a curriculum to follow.
Okay, that's the other thing. Mentors. So college, you get professors. The best thing is when you can keep an ongoing relationship with your professors past the class. I've got certain professors that I've followed up with that, that references for me, or I've met with them for coffee, and it actually makes a difference to stay in relationship with them
Yeah.
because they remember you from the class. They really appreciate what you take away from the class and your feedback on their teaching, which in most of my cases, I had really good professors. And so you can build really positive relationships that actually they can give you connections into places that you wouldn't
Yeah.
have had otherwise. It's a great way to network.
But I feel that you were a little bit different than the average. I think you were far more inspired, just the way you were brought up and your family, and I think you're just more motivated to actually go above and beyond and make the connections with your professors, for example, or you did a lot of it at home, and you worked
Right?
hard. I remember you were always working, and you had a goal like you're gonna do engineering, and I feel like most people just don't have that, and so college maybe not isn't
But I
as
guess the
good.
thing is, it's just what you put in is what you get out.
Yeah,
So if you put in all the effort, you're going to get out
yeah,
a lot of rewards,
exactly.
and that's critical.
Well, I feel like the system should be better though. It should like just certain things that it should teach you. I feel like the main things in life that people want to learn about is health, to be healthy, wealth, make money, and some happiness. And I feel like those three things aren't really taught in college. You learn a lot of
Yeah, not a lot.
abstract ideas,
Theory.
theory and math and algebra and geometry, which some of that you need depending on your career path. But
Funny thing,
it doesn't.
engineers, when they're learning college, So you take circuit classes, and the circuits are given with easy numbers for exams quite often. So
Hmm.
like there might be 1 amp of current flowing through an electric circuit just to make the math a little bit easier for you. So engineers come out with a theory, but they don't actually understand the application. They don't realize how big an amp actually is. It's a very significant flow of current.
Okay.
Like your cell phone is in the microamps or the nanoamps.
Oh
That's 10 to the
wow.
negative 6 or 10 to the negative 9 of how many amps of current are in
So
your
one
phone.
amp could like
So 1
shock
amp,
you or something.
yes, it could be deadly 1 amp potentially, depending on what
Oh.
situation you're in.
So if you just look at the numbers and you don't actually have the real life
You don't have the
application.
appreciation.
Yeah,
Anyhow,
I think self-application can beat education, where you can have real world experience. If you spend 4 years with real world experience, if you're intentional, like Spencer was with college, you're intentional learning a new skill, to build a business or whatever it is, get really good at a job, you could have just as much success in that as if you go to college without any
wait,
direction.
wait. We can also be intentional for like Jeriah is, who does gets through 8th grade, then picks up on the fly what he needs to learn for business to build his own business. You have multiple businesses. You have a film business, you
Uh,
have a
they're just
flight business, like where you're making flight videos, and you just keep exploring from an
yeah,
entrepreneurial perspective,
exactly.
and you're learning on the fly. That's really cool,
Yeah.
and you don't get that out of college. Like in all my interviews I've had, they're asking, what is team experience you've had? If I came out of college with no team experience, that would put me way down on the
Mm,
charts. It's if you know how to work with people, you can know the technical. They can teach you the technical.
yeah.
They can't teach you how to work with people.
Yeah.
That's something you
But
have to learn
I
on.
feel like they could though, and if they actually made it, like if the whole system was set up differently, like they had like a huge class, like taught you how to interact with people, and like if they, I think the education system could be better.
I don't think I'd survive that class because I'm so technical.
True.
But see, that's a struggle I have. I'm a very technical guy. I have to work on relationship. You're a very
Which is
relational guy. You have to work on technical probably. Or
maybe
is it
yeah.
both ways?
I feel like that's why the system could be better because you have no problem learning all the technical stuff. The education system should have been there to help you learn the people skills, and it could be, but I think it's because it was built in the early 19th century for factory workers, and they haven't really developed it. Everybody still sits in the classroom the same way that they did 200 years ago. I think it's like an old system.
And factories were all built based on automation. So everyone had one, like the Ford factory, they put out automobiles really quickly because everyone did one job on the assembly line. So it's like people were taught to do something and not to ask questions.
Yeah.
Same in
I
college.
feel like
We
college.
struggle with people.
I feel like college can kill curiosity because it teaches you to just answer questions yes or no instead of be curious. And it's okay if you don't get the right answer sometimes in real life. Like you can, you have to be curious.
But the funny thing is, in engineering, it's a little bit flip flops because they really need you to understand how to ask the why questions for how things work. So they give you
Mm,
tests with problems you've never seen before in
okay.
the class. And all they're looking for is that you have the mindset to solve the problem, even if you get the wrong answer, that you followed a good approach to get there and that you're demonstrating your thought process.
Okay.
And they'll give you partial credit. That's what, like, I
Yeah.
floated through on partial credit because these tests are so difficult.
Wow.
It's one of those things you have to do.
So what you're saying is in engineering, maybe that specific career, they focus a little bit more on asking questions and brainstorming instead of just maybe
Right,
other.
because it's the foundation of innovation. Innovative
Yeah.
people ask questions.
Yeah.
We've talked to multiple podcasts about how the people who ask the questions, who know how to listen, who are always trying to come up with new ideas, they're the ones who are not just doing what they're told. They're thinking beyond that, outside the box.
Wow. For engineering, for example, of course you need to go to college for certain things. There's almost a trend that, it's cool to not go to college or you can be a millionaire without going to college. It's not really true.
No,
Um,
it can be.
yeah, yeah,
Like there's all these books about how you can develop multiple income streams
yeah.
and you can become a millionaire that way. But yeah, go ahead.
So but certain things like to make the world work, we wouldn't have any planes or cars or electricity if there wasn't for engineers, and you have to go to college to learn all the technical things so that you can do that. So,
Right.
or a doctor or a veterinarian or millions of other things that you need to go to college for. So we almost think like we're too good or to go to college. I think some people are almost like it's almost become that trend. It's like the opposite, and that's not the case either. Like depending on your situation, I think college could be the best option. But I feel like it's less that way than it used to be.
Depends on the profession and the company. So some very large companies that are academics oriented really value education. So there's some jobs where you have to have a master's degree or a PhD before you can be considered. But then equivalent work at a different company might require no degree. It's all a matter of who you're dealing with and what they value. And so knowing the gist of where you're aiming for will help you make a decision, because if you end up getting a big degree and you go for a company
Yeah.
that doesn't need it, you may have wasted a little bit of money on that could have gone somewhere else. But if also you try to not do college and then go to a place that needs a PhD, there's going to be a gap there that can't
Hmm.
be reconciled. So
Interesting.
you have to be careful about which company you're looking for and what your target
Yeah.
is.
Like I feel like employers it depends on the situation. Like just like you're saying, some employers value your skills, personality, portfolio more than your degree. But of course, some do value, like you're saying, because it shows that you completed something. If you
Well,
can,
most value your portfolio.
okay,
Like that's it's what you've actually done.
okay,
Your degree doesn't tell them much; it just means you finished
yeah,
something,
but
which that does
it
tell them
shows that you
something.
finished something if you
But
finished a
if you have a
degree.
portfolio, it's beyond the degree, and
Yeah,
that it shows you as a
yeah,
person are wanting to learn even more than what
yeah.
the degree required you to do.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, one of the biggest thing for college, and it's with anything, there's a lot of risk involved. But with college, it does cost a lot of money. It's costing more and more. And people are willing to put a lot of money into going to college when they don't even know what they want to do. They don't have any goals. They just spend tons of money on college, and you can never file bankruptcy on that money, on that debt. So that's a big thing to consider is, maybe you could spend half that money on starting a business instead of going to college if you're considering.
Or spend a fraction of that money at community college for the first year, figure out if you like what you think you like, and then go to a bigger school
Oh,
and
yeah. That's a
have
good
the
idea.
investment.
Wow, that's a good idea. That's cool. What's some tips for if you're going to college, like what's the mindset you should have, as far as like kind of what you did?
Well, always be learning. Like, don't stop, even outside the classroom. It's not just from class start to class end. It's you want your to be a lifelong learner where you're always trying to grow who you are and what you know, and ask the right questions. And always ask questions. That's the other thing, because that's how you figure out what you know and what your learning gaps are. If you're not asking questions, you don't figure that out. And it's fine to be wrong. There aren't dumb questions.
Yeah.
When you realize when something clicks for you, it's like in Outliers. They were talking about how
Yeah.
anyone can be an expert if they're given the time to learn something. Some
Yeah.
people, it takes longer for certain things to click,
Yeah.
but when they click, you are just like the expert because you have it down.
Yeah.
The person who may have
Yeah.
gotten there faster, but so
But
just ask the right
yeah.
questions and always be focused on learning.
That's really good. I like that. I think coming from that perspective of not being afraid to get something wrong, and I think that's another thing that if you're going through you're working in your college your books and it's like you check the wrong answer, like you get like then you get the mindset that it's either a right or a wrong answer, and I think a lot of times in life it's okay to be wrong, like you were saying, like you don't, but it depends. In
I had a
technical
question
thing,
for you though.
okay,
You did not go to college.
yeah.
What's your advice for someone who doesn't go to college and wants to start their own
Yeah,
business?
honestly, I think it's very similar to what you said. It's the mindset. It goes back to it's not necessarily about going to college or not. It's about the mindset that you go with. But I would say if you don't want to go to college, you have to have a clear goal. Like, well, what do you want to do? That's the benefit of college is if you pick a certain career path, then you're set on that and you can follow that and you don't have to worry about it. But if you're on your own, it's harder because nobody's telling you what to do. Like you have to figure out what you want to do, and you have to stick with that, and you have to realize it's going to take it takes 8 years or 4 years to go through college. It's going to take 8 years to start your own business successfully.
So, sorry, how do you do that? Do you bring people in your life that help
Yeah,
influence you?
well, mentors are huge. I think even with media, media can influence you if you watch the right media, if you watch lots of educational videos, and you research what you're doing. But then you have to obviously put it into practice. You have to actually motivate yourself to do things, make small steps, and then realize it's going to take a long time. Patience, just like going to college, it's going to take years to build something or to build a career for yourself. But yeah, just have a goal and just work toward it. Similar mindset as you would going to college.
That's kind of surprising. I would not have thought it was the same concept both ways. So, if you could do it over again, would you go to college?
No, I wouldn't. I would say it would, for me, it would feel like a huge waste of time because I have to go back to college, sit there, learn about, maybe let's say I did business for college. I'd probably learn some useful things, but I'd have to go there, spend tons of money that I could use for my own business, and then once I got out of college, I'd be like 24 years old, and I'd waste all those years. I feel like it'd be a waste for me.
I would definitely do it again because, you know, I'll be able to recoup the cost of college over the next
Yeah,
several years because
exactly.
entry level engineers are 60 to 80,000 a year. So
Yeah, wow.
based on that salary level, you can recoup the cost.
Totally. If you figure it out, like you put in the time to plan and figure out, okay, this is gonna work out. I'm gonna
You
do
have to do
this.
your research ahead for sure.
Yeah, and you put in lots of work to get there. If you just go through college and hope, like it's just like all you have to do is go to college and you'll get a good degree. No, like it said, 27% of college grads never end up getting a job related to their degree. So and that's because most people don't actually, they don't
They don't
even,
know what they want to do even
yeah,
after they have the degree.
yeah. But if you figure it out and the costs and the risks and all that, then yeah, going to college may be the best option.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, I think that was cool. I think it was good to have this discussion.
Yeah, it's a little different than our typical
Yeah.
discussion. We go through books usually,
We
but
should do more of
we should
these.
do more of these.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So stay tuned. Go to our website, motivationminute.com. You can check out the latest books on the website on our store and buy them there.
Yeah, and also subscribe to the podcast on iTunes. You can just listen. Most of our episodes are going to be on there because we're not together very often to film.
Right.
So
This is pretty cool.
yeah. Anyway, awesome. Well, thanks for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. See you guys later.
See ya.